Give your wife the best. Give her Big Ron's big pies.
Thank Goodness You're Here is without a doubt one of the funniest video games I have ever played. But can comedy alone really elevate this experience to be considered a good video game? Let's find out in this Megadad's review. Now, I've been reviewing video games here at Megadad's for over 10 years, and one of the tried and true formulas to get people to understand what the game is like is to compare it to a likewise experience. What do you do when you play something that's not like anything you've ever played before? Thank Goodness You're Here isn't so much a video game as it is an interactive series of comedic adventures. And the comedy is high. Like, this game is truly hilarious. This video game is full of strange, bizarre, quirky characters and run-on jokes that had me absolutely in stitches, laughing my ass off for the entire experience.
It's the meat in the bun of the burger that I enjoy. Oh, me weenie sausage meal. Blooming heck.
Which is pretty short. Thank Goodness You're Here can be completed in a small handful of hours. I think my run through was about 3 hours. I played it on the PlayStation 5 and I loved it. But when the game was done, I found myself reflecting on the experience I just had and trying to figure out how to communicate to you guys what kind of game this is. You are a traveling salesman who makes his way to the small, quirky British town of Barnsworth to peddle your wares. What is it that you're selling? Doesn't matter, because once you arrive in Barnsworth, the townspeople, the townsfolk are very happy that you are there because they have stuff for you to do. Thank Goodness You're Here is all about doing small menial tasks for the townsfolk that you come across as you're waiting for your meeting with the mayor so that you can make your sales pitch. Again, what are you selling? It doesn't matter. Because what propels you forward in this game isn't getting to the ultimate goal, which is to have your meeting with the mayor. It's all about finding the next weird townsperson who's going to give you a strange request, like the guy who's got his arm stuck in a drainage pipe who wants you to source him some lubrication. So you have to go find yourself a giant block of butter so that he can butter himself up and remove his arm.
I'll have a chicken bake, please, love.
Well, with no butter today, Colin's gone and lost it, so it's vegan. I hope that's all right.
Oh, no, I'd rather shit bed.
There's a grotesquely alcoholic locksmith who you have to coax to his next job so that you can get in a locked door. There's a bizarrely horny gardener in this game that you have to keep doing tasks for. And every time you find this guy, he's doing something a little risque, like trying to pound fertilizer out of a bag.
Jesus Christ! I thought I were back in the Falklands for a second there. Steady as you go, lad.
There's one guy who's like behind a picket fence for the entirety of the game. And there's a little hole in this fence. And he's constantly pushing sausages through this hole. He's trying to feed you sausages. You know, he's sticking little wieners. He's sticking wieners through a hole.
Hello there. I've got a sausage here. Would you like it? Here you go. Ah, I've dropped it. That's okay. I've got another. Ah, I've dropped it again. It's all right. I've got some more inside. Back in a mo.
If I were to try to compare Thank Goodness You're Here to another video game, I'd say this is kind of like what would happen if WarioWare had a running story. Like if WarioWare was a narrative adventure rather than a sequence of bizarre minigames. The things that you do in Thank Goodness You're Here, they do have you executing tasks. But it's always micro tasks. So maybe they want you to chop up some fish. So you're just spamming the X button as you're cutting fish. Maybe they want you to grind some meat. So you're rotating your thumbstick. So it's kind of like WarioWare in that sense, where it's like there are video game mechanics to be had here, but they're incredibly lean and they are entirely in service of the comedy that you're experiencing. So if you're somebody who loves comedy, I really, really, really recommend that you play Thank Goodness You're Here, because comedy is something that is really hard to do in the video game space, especially if it's a short experience like what this game is.
Here he is again. Ready for another bit of fiddlesticks, are you? Watch your knees.
Thank Goodness You're Here is a small 3-hour experience full of places and characters that you've never seen before that thrives. It lives or dies by its jokes. And it absolutely succeeds at that. Now, something that we talk about every review here at Megadads is the family focus. Is this game appropriate for you to play with or in front of your family? Now, this is a tricky one because I actually played a preview build of this game for Steam Fest. And I played it with my daughter, and it seemed perfectly okay. The jokes were clean enough in the demo, and the art style is like that of a old 80s cartoon. So it seems like it is calling to a broad audience. But buyer beware. I did not notice that this was an M-rated game. And it wasn't until we had played a good chunk of this, maybe like a half an hour, where I started to see the sexual innuendo that kind of permeates the entire experience from that point forward. This is absolutely an M-rated game. The jokes are probably going to go over your children's heads for the most part, but there are a few moments that are kind of impossible to brush aside, like the weird drunken sailor guy who lives in the dumpster and is sitting on a toilet with his dick hanging out. You know, some jokes can go over your kid's head, but when they're staring a 2D animated dick straight in the eye.
Excellent work, cabin boy. You retrieved my finest lieutenants. There's a bright future ahead of you on this ship. Attention!
Like, you can't really. So, no, Thank Goodness You're Here is not one you should be playing with your children. This is an after bedtime game through and through. So ultimately, how am I going to score this thing, right? We've established that this is a hilarious adventure that I had a blast with, but doesn't really have much in the sense of gameplay. In the end, I have to score this based on my experience with it, whether it has in-depth mechanics or not. It's interactive. It is interactive. I am experiencing this adventure in a way that I wouldn't be able to if it was just a passive animated show. So yes, Thank Goodness You're Here is a game. It is a great game. It's short, it's truncated, but I had a blast with it. I was laughing my ass off the entire time, and it is certainly like nothing else that I've played on my PlayStation before. I'm giving Thank Goodness You're Here 4 out of 5 stars. Thank you for watching this Megadads review. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back here with more reviews, more previews, and more family fun. This is where gamer life meets real life after all. We'll see you guys later.